Well, good morning, everybody. I feel like most of my videos this week have just started off with satellite data. It's been quite amazing to watch some of these large low pressure systems move across the country. And what I'm really thinking about here is this one that as the sun rises this morning, we can still see the remnants of what was a pretty powerful cutoff low that was underneath this broader ridge. If I just take you back to yesterday, we can see what this looked like as it spun up through parts of here in parts of Mississippi, delivering a tremendous amount of rain. What we talked about in the in-depth video last night about how some of the bigger storms continued to hit parts of Florida and into the southeast yesterday and last night. If you get a chance in the report today, I actually linked a couple of videos of what some of this looked like, and I just think it's important to have a closer look here. Okay, as we see the sun rising, let's go over to the infrared imagery here. What we're going to be watching early this morning is the lead system that brought the snow into parts of Montana is moving into like parts of Saskatchewan and Manitoba. We're watching the broader trough come out of the Four Corners states here, really out of Colorado. And it's going to be that system where we've now got a much better handle, I think, on what it's going to do in terms of precipitation type and intensity and where it is potentially going to be putting down, unfortunately, some snow. Quickly, though, I want to show you the last 72 hours of total accumulated precipitation. Remember, most of this was snow. We'll take a look at that in a second. But some of the rainfall totals down here in parts of the south and southeast are just historic. We talked about the over 2 feet of rain that did fall in parts of southern Florida around Fort Lauderdale, but just notice this corridor and through here, picking up 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. Most of the rest of the country, the land area, we didn't have much precipitation. And in today's video, I do provide the latest update on the U.S. Drought Monitor and soil moisture again, just to kind of talk about where this drought has continued to stay anchored, where it's improved. It's actually improved over in the Carolinas. It's improved in the West, but we've seen it just getting deeper and deeper here into the Central Plains. Now, really quickly on that snow, just showing you the last 72 hours of total accumulated snowfall. Just a reminder, some places did grab another foot of snow, and it's drifted quite a bit in this area with some stronger winds. Okay, today the story is going to move toward a change in the pattern. We've now seen the area that was under red flag warning being reduced. What we're going to be watching out for in this particular area is more flooding from not only the snow melt, but what's going to be coming behind it, which is unfortunately more precipitation for the northern part of the United States. And again, we still have the frost advisories that are out and freeze warnings that are out for parts of coastal California and Oregon. And I just want to make a point that this pattern did give us this nice warm spell for a lot of the country, but I'd have to say it was a bit abbreviated over what we thought it could have been. All right, with the next system coming out, it does have a severe threat to it. So you see today over the parts of the Carolinas, mid-Atlantic, some stronger storms with the cutoff low. And then we're going to watch tonight right here coming out of parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska for some severe storms. Tomorrow, that risk will follow the southern tail of the front on this system, which is going to really set up parts of Illinois, getting to Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, clipping Mississippi, right along the river here, back in eastern Texas. And by the time we get into the day on Sunday, we're going to watch this translate farther to the east. Now, there is some snow coming with this, and we're starting to see the models hone in on where we're expecting to see that snow, like coming out of Colorado into parts of Nebraska, and then this area we're going to watch this weekend for the potential for snow on the backside of this. We'll take a look at the snowfall totals from the individual models right now, but the map I've been drawing on shows you the probability of getting at least 3 inches of snow. So what we're seeing here is there's a 50 to 70% chance of grabbing at least 3 inches of snow out of this next system that comes through here. This only goes, by the way, to Tuesday morning. So let's have a look at it. We're going to pick this up early this morning here on Friday with the high-res NAM. So the two systems, the broader one here, the trough that's sitting over the southeast. So you can see the storm spreading. We're watching the snow coming out of Colorado, Wyoming, clipping parts of Nebraska, South Dakota. And as this just brings widely scattered storms throughout the day today across parts of the southeast, the Appalachian Mountains, Tennessee Valley, well, the western side of it, or eastern side of it, excuse me. We are going to see tonight this corridor in through here possibly set up with a line of some pretty strong storms. Now let's play this through the overnight hours. And what we're going to watch as we get into the day on Saturday morning, the chance for snow showers on the backside of this is increasing, widely scattered showers and storms out ahead of it. This is 9 a.m. Saturday morning, playing through middle of the day on Saturday, getting towards Saturday evening. And this is where the potential sits on the southern side of this for kind of an elongated region. Right now, we do see the risk of rotating storms, but mostly I think this is going to be a setup for stronger straight line winds out of this. There's also a hail threat with it as well. But the unfortunate side of this storm is that the models continue, take a look at this, by early Sunday morning to drop enough cold air on the backside to be bringing a snow swath from parts of Minnesota through Iowa and into Missouri. Now, snow in April often doesn't stick around for very long just because of ground temperatures and the sunshine that will follow this. But it is important to see that this is where the models have now put that snow risk. Remember, the pink in through here represents a risk for some ice. All right, that's just system number 1, and it's going to continue. We got to switch over and look at the other models to kind of see where it goes. So GFS left, European right. And as we play this forward, let me just park this out there where the previous model left off. We've now got much better agreement, and I want to make the statement that says the European model did cave to the GFS solution all along. You know that I tend to prefer the European model because of its historic accuracy, but there are numerous cases where the GFS hits the mark, better. So that's what we're seeing here. Some of this rain's going to be quite cold moving through parts of the Midwest after such incredible heat this week. And we're going to watch this system curl up over the Great Lakes by Monday and then move in through Ontario and Quebec by Tuesday. We're going to take a look at what the temperature is going to do behind that. Now, you noticed already coming in is another trough off the west coast. We keep seeing these troughs develop here. And by Monday, getting into Tuesday, this one comes into the Pacific Northwest and unfortunately spreads more snow into parts of Idaho and Montana, as we can see in both models. And then it will come out late next week into the central United States, maybe next Wednesday, Thursday, as another system to be paying close attention to. We cannot right now just look at the snow swath here and assume that that's where it's going to be. So we'll have to do the same thing we just did with this system, knowing that there's the potential, but we don't yet know of the total amount. But I would like to show you that over the next 7 days, I've got the ECMWF snowfall over here, GFS, so I kind of flipped them. I'm sorry about that. So the ECMWF is on the left, GFS is on the right. We're just kind of honing in here, having a look at where that potential snow could be from the first system, knowing a second one's going to follow it about a week from now. And here's the GFS solution. All right. From here, I want to show you the probability of getting at least an inch of total precipitation over the next 10 days. You know that at the end of last week and through early this week, we were looking at who was going to be dry. Well, with the new setup here, continuing to drop troughs into the west, and they're coming out into the central United States. We're having no trouble opening up the Gulf, and we now see a much broader area that's going to be showing up wetter here as we go through the end of this month of April. In the report today, we do talk, in last night's in-depth video, we talk about what it takes to break this drought. So if you get a chance, watch last night's video so that you can see that potential setup. Just to show you where this goes into week 2, here we have the latest from the CPC, the European model, and the GFS. The CPC is really kind of following the GFS solution, but the European model is considerably wetter down here compared to the other two forecasting systems. So we'll need to see how the jet stream pattern takes shape over this weekend across the Pacific to understand what this might look like for that time period out there of the 21st to the 28th. So we'll keep an eye on this, all right? Over the next 7 days, let's get in here and take a look at these temperatures. There we go. We're going to see the warmth that had spread through this whole region start to break. So over the last 7 days, that's where we just saw repeated days of almost summer-like temperatures. As we take a look at what the temperatures are doing today, this is today's highs compared to normal. As we play it forward, getting into Saturday, we see the colder air advancing. That's going to set up the risk of snow here on Sunday. And then as we play through the weekend, the colder air moves east and another warm-up happens, but these warm-ups are a lot more abbreviated over what we just saw. So mild air comes in the middle of the week, but we know there's another system following this next Thursday, Friday. So what I did was I worked on a new graphic for you this morning, and you know how I often show you the ones that show frost over the next 7 days? I'm going to stretch this out 10 days and use the European model instead of using the National Digital Forecast Database. And instead of looking at a temperature below 32, I'm going to show you in gray everywhere where the temperatures are expected to be below 35. Okay, so it's kind of a frost potential animation. And as I play it forward, it's cumulative. So you know we're not taking things off after they've happened. So this means that through next Wednesday morning, we could possibly get temperatures down into the low 30s here and then back into the plains all the way down into the northern parts of Nebraska, New Mexico and Arizona. All right. Now there's the second wave that comes in next Friday, right? So watch, this starts off Friday into Saturday, the 22nd and 23rd. And right now the models, just notice, are trying to add more colder conditions getting into Kansas and Missouri. I just want to point that out. So we've kind of had this concern that this frost line could get down here with the first go of it, and then maybe with the second we could get it down here. But remember, these are temperatures at or below 35. So just want to point that out. Overall, the temperature pattern moved back into what I would just consider unfavorable for the start of a growing season. As we slide this 15-day temperature graphic out, we see that to finish April, we have another push at some colder air. Now, what's missing? Big blocking ridges here. And if we could build one of those into place, we would blast this whole thing wide open in the month of May. We have to be watching out for that, okay? But as it stands, finishing April tends to bring in more cooler weather, but the only place that maintains a warmer bias will largely be in this region. Okay, last thing, just quick update on South America. Not a major change, but an important change in the models is that this corridor in through here in central Brazil now has increased its risk of flooding over what we watched trend all week. Much of the rest of Brazil sees near normal precip. You know, this drier area here, there are some big acres in here that are important, but I'm not yet overly concerned about what this could mean given some of the longer range forecasts. But down into Rio Grande do Sul, parts of Paraguay, Uruguay, and into Argentina, models have been very consistent on the drought continuing in this area. So we'll stop there. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again next week. Thanks.